gentlemen, welcome back to the Rock Show with Connor Farrell. Today, our guest for fans of Alice in Chains and Black Sabbath, it is Little Liar. Cue intro. Okay, now that we're back from the intro, we're going to do a little bit of rapid fire, and then we're going to delve deeper. So to start, we're going to go from my right to my left. Austin, what is one of the first bands you remember getting into when you got into music?
Oh, man. I'm a little ashamed of it now, but I really loved Def Leppard when I was a little kid.
Okay, a little bit of shame never hurt anyone. Now, what's one good Def Leppard song you wouldn't be ashamed of sharing?
Foolin'.
Foolin', is that what it's called? Foolin'. Okay. Foolin'. Okay, now Matt, same question. One band you first got into music.
Guns N' Roses.
Ooh, GNR. And now one song.
Probably Rocket Queen off of Appetite for Destruction.
Ooh. Okay, Derek.
So, I started off as a country kid, so I guess Charlie Daniels Band, probably.
Okay. And how do I write that?
I don't know, with letters.
Okay. Okay, now what's one good song from them?
Oh, man.
You only need one. It shouldn't be that hard. Come on.
That's what's... No, it's not Devil Went Down to Georgia. Get out of here. It's... I've showed it to you. What is it? It's just a bunch of words. I don't know, man. A bunch of words talking about some fella with green teeth.
Yeah, it's a banger. You can pick a different.
Green Teeth song. The Green Teeth. You know what, Derek? You want to pass? You can pass on this question if you really.
I don't really have like a favorite band. My dad was a DJ. I just kind of like listen to everything.
Okay. Well, how about Dash? Dash, you got a band that you got into when you first got into music?
Black Keys.
Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. Black Keys. Now, what song do the people at home need to listen to?
Weight of Love.
Oh, you cut out.
Weight of Love.
Oh, okay. Okay, now we're going to go back to Austin. What is a band you're just getting into?
I don't know. I'm over the last few years, Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes. They're one of my favorite bands.
Okay, now with Frank Carter, what do the people at home need to listen to? What's one song?
It's hard to do one song. I would say probably Honey.
Okay, now Matt, one band you're getting into.
Yeah, there's these guys I just heard of. They're called the Beatles. No, in all seriousness, one band that Austin turned me on, Tyler Bryant.
And now what's one good song from them?
There's so many good ones. Loaded Dice and Buried Money would probably be one of the better.
Loaded Dice. Okay, Derek, can you pick one band you're listening to right now? One band.
Yeah. Let's go with Nirvana, because I wasn't a big Nirvana grungy kind of guy.
Nirvana. Now, what's your go-to? You want to get someone into Nirvana. What's the song?
Breed. That's a good one, right?
Dude.
Breed.
That's a very good one. Bread. That's the sequel. No, Dash, what's one band you're just getting into?
I'd say Slaughter Beach Dog.
Slaughter Beach Dog. Now, what do I need to listen to from Slaughter Beach Dog?
All of it. Probably, I'd say Phoenix is my favorite.
Phoenix by Slaughter Beach Dog. Okay, so guys, we got a lot to talk about today. It's very, there's a lot going on. Let's just start here. Buffalo, New York. Should people visit Buffalo? What's the deal with Buffalo?
It depends on what you like. If you like cold, depressing weather, then sure. In bad football.
It's gonna be pretty for a little bit coming up soon.
Yeah, fall's
It'll
nice.
be pretty here for a little bit, and then it'll get really
Depressing.
catastrophic weather-wise. But
Yeah. So if you like losing sports teams in catastrophic weather, stop through.
and a banging music scene.
Yeah, the music scene here is pretty awesome.
Well, what's there in the music scene? Sell me on it.
Just a ton of great original bands. I mean, I feel like other big cities have a ton of like tribute and cover bands, and we have our fair share too. But I mean, it's really kind of built around original music. We have the Music is Art Foundation out here, and they really try to foster and bring up some of these original bands and help them out where they can. So just and such a wide array of music. There's punk, indie, hardcore, metalcore, hard rock, everything you would want in Buffalo. You could probably find it in Buffalo. So.
Okay, well, what are some of your guys' favorites? Let's go. How about one of you each? Give me a Buffalo local. They can be big, they can be small, they can be little, they can be tall.
I really like Pretty Good State University.
That's the one I was going to
Pretty
go
good.
with.
Shout out Pretty Good State University. They're cool.
Pretty good. Are they pretty good?
They're pretty good.
They are pretty good.
Pretty good. Wicked. Okay, and then Matt, come on.
I should Sliver. They're a hard rock grungy band like us. They're working on putting out their first album. So great guys over there.
Wicked. Okay, Derek Dash, let's get some Rex.
I would go with Dirty Dishes. They're a little bit more.
Whoa.
Got a saxophone in there, a little more dancey. I like them. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. They're not cleaning up, are they? Okay, Dash.
Oh, Daisy Chain. We played our first show with them. So
Daisy Chain. Do they clean their dishes?
usually.
Okay, that's important. That's very, very important for a growing boy band. Growing boy band. Are they a boy band?
They are not.
There's a girl in there.
What if the girl could be a boy too? You know, just pretend. Now, okay, so Buffalo, New York, and you guys like Buffalo, New York, despite the Bills.
I love the Bills. Don't you put my sports team in your mouth.
I think it'd be hard to fit the entire team, but I could fit a Buffalo. Let's see. Okay, let's go. Yeah, let's see. We got a lot of things here to talk about. A lot of things we can talk about. Let's go. Oh, let's start with this influences. So Sabbath, Alice in Chains, obviously. But then what are your kind of like main things when you go to like thinking about writing? Do you try and are there people you kind of pull on like, oh, I want to write courses like that band, or I like the way these people do that? Like, how do your influences impact your songwriting, and what do those look like?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I like to try and write. I mean, obviously everyone tries to write. Like, I think everybody tries to write a catchy hook. You know what I mean? But were you getting interrupted?
Yes, your camera has gone down. Oh, there we go.
Hey, we're back.
You're back.
So influences, yeah. I don't know. I feel like I try to write as catchy as possible. You know, who doesn't, right? But I listen to a pretty wide array of music. But bands like we mentioned earlier, Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown, Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes, they're like good hard rock bands in different styles. But we try to kind of merge those two together to get our own unique thing. I also like bands like The Strokes, The Neighborhood, which is like more of a pop direction. But I definitely draw a lot of influence from like the topics that they sing about and like how I relate to what they're talking about. It just kind of influences me to write my own stuff. I know this guy likes Slash a lot, so he riffs pretty hard.
Why do you say that?
Because
I'm wearing
Did you notice the Miles Kennedy / merch? Come on.
I think World on Fire shirt, but I've seen him
Oh,
times now. So he's
man.
favorite guitarist.
Have you seen him drunk?
No, I mean I think he's been sober the entirety of my life. Oh, most of it.
So you've seen Slash, but you've never seen Sloshed.
Have
Okay,
not.
there you go. That was no, I hope that was worth the payoff for you. Okay, so wait, so Austin, you're writing. Are you starting with lyrics? Is that kind of how you start with a song? How does a song come alive? How is it born?
I usually kind of start. I try to give myself a prompt, or I try to
Prompt,
Yeah, I want to know.
like ChatGPT.
No, no. I
Okay.
try to keep it a little more authentic than that. But I like have an idea of what I'm trying to write out first, and then I mean it can start with. I could get the idea of what I want the song to be about lyrically based on the instrumental, or if we're working on a riff, or if there's already a part down in that, in that guitar wise or whatever. Sometimes I'll have just like the title of the song, and it's like that's kind of starts as the prompt. Like I really like the way something sounds, phrase sounds or something. And like I want to write a song based on that phrase.
Yeah. So when you're picking a theme, right? You were saying sometimes you listen to the Strokes, the Neighborhood, and then harder things too. You kind of pick up on the themes of what they're writing about. So are there any like examples that come to mind as a good showcase of that? Maybe Death of Me, maybe like
Yeah, a lot about like heartbreak and self-destruction and all of the sad things. I'm pretty fucking good. No, not to brag.
a lot of heartbreak, casual.
Some tears here and there, a lot of existential dread, but the music's cool as frick.
Little riz, a little internal terror, inescapable terror, a little bit of can't escape day or night. It just always goes on inside. And no matter what you do, you think you've left it, but then it comes back and it sneaks up on you and you can never leave it because it is you. That's all there is. Anyways,
Oh man,
I'll be wide awake in bed tonight.
I was like, that was so aggressive.
woo! That's what's going on in here. No, there we go. So Austin, no. Do you like? So I guess do you like singing about heartbreak? Is there something cathartic in these dark topics?
It always feels. I guess like what it's gonna feel like the most authentic thing until I'm actually somewhere else.
You got to like pull from what you know to be able to write a song that really connects with your
writing
audience.
about most of the time, and the nonstop ride we've been on for a while. So yeah. Writing about, and I feel like other people obviously relate to it to some degree. I don't know.
Yeah.
Helps.
No, I definitely get that. And so okay, so now let's take a little detour. Speaking of detouring, touring, gigging. How do you guys balance gigging, writing songs, working on songs, putting them out, like versus playing shows? What's that approach?
Probably could be balanced a little better.
I think we're doing pretty good compared to other bands.
It is a little messy. We're busy. We're really, really busy. Yeah. I do all of our booking, and I take care of that stuff. And up until now, it's been just like, yeah, we'll take whatever's thrown at us and whatever we're free for. But for the next year, I'm looking to kind of have a more targeted approach that allows us to write a little bit more and allows us to kind of have a plan set to grow. And I'm working on getting us out of town more. I've been looking at like Hamilton, Ontario, Pittsburgh, Youngstown, Ohio. We've played before, Erie, PA, just getting outside of Buffalo and starting to kind of cultivate a regional presence. So.
Okay, so what's the foundation you think for the strategy, and what are the goals long term? Is one of them regional presence, and is that to get you to a certain point? Like, do you want the band to I guess make enough money that all four of you can do it full time? Like, is there any concrete kind of goals that you're kind of have as touch points?
Any musician have it be their full-time job and be able to support yourself off of music. Like, I don't feel like, I mean, would it be nice to make $1 million a year off of music? Yeah, but I don't think all of us would be happy just being able to make enough money to pay our bills and go home and just be comfortable, and do it that way.
We just made a pretty big purchase that'll help us out with getting around.
Yeah, we just got a bus, and we put about $2,000 into that, and we need to put some brakes and stuff in it, but we're going to be renovating a bus, and we're going to be looking
number on it.
Yeah. big $2,000. Well, I don't know. People will see it, and then they'll be like, "Oh,
it's a Mercedes Sprinter."
Yeah, it's an '06 Ford beater. But no, I mean, hopefully hit the road. We're looking at an April tour potentially. So.
Okay. And then do you have, I guess, what are your goals for the tour? Is it just to get to other cities? Is it to try and get some specific bands you want to play with?
I think there's some good bands that we do want to hop on with, but it's really just to get in front of more faces and kind of see what other music scenes have to say, I guess, about us and how they react to our music, and just growing a fan base. We have people who've asked us to come to different places, and we haven't had the opportunity to do that yet, so I guess that's our way of trying to get out and show that we are a band that will be on the road, and you will try to come and visit your city. So.
Yeah, would you aim to be tour support or to open with someone bigger? Would that be kind of a strategy, you think?
That would be awesome. We'd totally do that. And I think a lot of bigger bands don't look at smaller bands unless they are already kind of putting themselves on the road. So that's kind of the strategy is hey, if another band with us sees we're doing well, they might bring us on with them. That would be mutually beneficial and help kind of bring us up a bit further. So.
Genius. Yeah, that's good because it's funny for me. I kind of feel like there's two routes, and you can do, and I think everyone does a bit of both. But I see kind of there's internet and reaching people on the internet, and there's doing stuff in person, right? And so, what are different strategies going either way, and what strategy do you do? Doing bits of both, and how do you balance it? Is kind of really interesting to me. So for me, I'm kind of social media. I'm podcast, film stuff. I want to work on some new music, merch, whole kind of thing, right? I've got a whole thing, and I kind of want to do it on social media first, because I played tons of shows, but I haven't really had a consistent lineup with my band. But a lot of the bands I interview, they do have consistent lineups, and they like gigging. But some of the bands are we like doing social media more, and they both work and they both grow. So I guess I'm less familiar with the gigging kind of the mindset. So I saw, do you guys know the band King's X?
Yeah.
Of course. This
Okay.
guy never existed.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I was going to say, their lead singer and bassist, he follows you guys. Did you realize that?
But he runs our social. That's pretty sick.
I think I know who that guy is. I didn't know he was the bassist for them. But
pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. I don't know the guy's name offhand. I hope.
Yeah, so his name is Doug Pinnock. It's one of my cousin who is my drummer and who lived with me for a while. He's one of his favorite bands, since he was a small child, and continues to proselytize them to everyone we meet. And so I was just saying, I didn't know if you could reach out to them. I think you could see, do you want to work on a track, maybe play some shows together? Because pretty much all of the grunge bands were influenced by King's X. If you look at Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, a lot of them, they list influence is King's X, this band. And so I think if you maybe did a show or maybe a song or could collab with them in some way, that might also help you get the attention of some touring and some venues. You go, hey, we did a song with King's X. They'd be like, oh. And then the other people who don't know, it'll just go over their head, and it's no harm, no foul. Let's see. Okay. So Wicked. So what's the funnest gig you guys have played?
That is a very difficult one.
I had fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. We might have different answers going down the line.
Rattle them off.
I'll go first. We opened at Rec Room, which is a pretty decent venue in Buffalo for Adelita's Way, and that was pretty cool. We had 170 people come out to the show, something crazy like that. We have a picture of it on our socials, I think. It was freaking a good time.
Yeah, it was packed.
I know.
What happened?
I don't know what my favorite was.
I'll
Probably
go.
the same.
Yeah, what you got? I mean, it was going to be that one, but also our debut album release show I had a ton of fun at. I mean, we basically packed that place ourselves, and that was our first big, I would say, damn near sold out show. So that was awesome.
How many people you think?
There was probably close to 200.
Woo!
So
That's a good
Small
show.
room. It was like 120 degrees in there.
yeah, it was pretty warm.
Yeah. What do you guys think makes for a good show? Is it the density of the crowd? What do you think?
I mean, I think really it comes down to for me, it depends on what you mean. Like for an audience, I would say probably good sound and energy, but for us, I would say probably a good audience and I mean, you always like to get to feed off the audience of the energy of the audience. God Almighty, can I speak today?
I mean, I think you can get, there could be 100 people in a room and they could just not be vibing with the band or whatever, not really paying much attention. And I guess that's, partially on the band, but at the same time, you play shows where there's only 15 people there standing around and they're giving more back to you.
Yeah, it's about what you get back from
Yeah.
the people at the show. So
Definitely feeding off of the crowd and hopefully giving them, something worth feeding back. I think is what makes a good show.
You got to give them something worth feeding back. That's what I've always said. I mean, really.
Yeah, you have to have good energy on stage for them to have good energy off stage. If you're all just up there standing, you're going through the motions, but there's no energy and heart in it. If you're up there and you're absolutely killing it and you're having the best time of your life, then they're gonna follow you and also have a good time.
Yeah. So they gotta follow you, and you gotta set the lead, but then you also gotta have someone in the crowd actually respond. You gotta have the crowd start to give it back, because you can't just give it and then after a certain point you're just I can't just keep forcing it if the crowd's completely stale.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it's really if they're not responding, then you're not doing something right. But
that's a hot take. I like it. Okay, so let's
we're gonna be real about it.
Let's talk a little bit about. So what do you guys get coming out that you're excited about? Do you have some songs that you're looking at releasing? Are you looking at doing an album, maybe a couple singles spread out over the year?
Yeah,
what's kind of your approach?
We're working on some stuff. We don't really have a hard date for anything to come out, but we're working on some new singles. We're working on putting an EP out sometime within 2025. We don't really. We'd rather take our time with it and make sure we have a good, solid product and release it a little bit later than just kind of rush through it and get something else out. So we do have. We're looking at about 5 to 7 songs. Probably roughly is what we're looking at for an EP. So
okay, and then are you thinking just 5-6 songs on the EP, and then would you do a single for the EP, or would you just go straight EP?
No, we're probably going to do about 2 singles for it.
Okay, yeah. And then would you do separate art for the singles? What are you thinking in terms of visuals and promo?
Oh yeah, different art pretty much for everything.
Yeah, our guy Dash over here on the bass, he designs all of our stuff, our merch and our album cover from the first album, and all the posters that we do for shows. He designs all that if he wants to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I have some schemes in terms of what I want to do with the next little bit stuff, but nothing super solid. I definitely want separate art for both singles and the EP as a whole, and a line of merch to kind of coincide with all of that. Because I feel like a little bit of a package deal is kind of what people want.
Definitely. And are there any key visual tropes you want to pull on for this, upcoming set of art?
I mean, yeah, we've talked a little bit about some ideas. I don't know necessarily, how much I want to get into specifics because we haven't decided yet. But yeah, so I have a couple. Usually how it works is I'll scheme up some ideas and give the guys a bunch to pick from, and then we'll kind of narrow it down through voting, and I'll make alterations on the designs as we go. But yeah, I've been cooking some stuff up that I'm going to be ready to share with them pretty soon, so I'm excited for that.
Sweet. And then in the past artwork, have you thought about it? What's your approach been? Is it similar to what you're doing with the upcoming stuff?
Yes and no. The first little release we did, it came out pretty quick, so we got stuff around for it pretty quick. So yeah, I made 2 separate single covers for Death of Me and Dirty Broke Kid, and just kind of try to theme those around each track specifically, and then we kind of collaborated as a unit on the idea for the actual album cover and shot some stuff here in our practice space, and then I put it together digitally.
And so what was some of the inspiration? Let's go with the album cover, right?
Mm-hmm.
What were some visual inspirations you guys were kind of all thinking about when you came up with that?
So, I mean, we had talked about...
not very PG-13.
Yeah, no. So the album is called Liquor, Lust Anguish, so we talked about wanting to symbolize those things on the cover. And then specifically for me, I was kind of riffing off of some of the layout of Bleach by Nirvana. The black and white type of thing, yeah. So for me, that was kind of some inspo I wanted to pull in sound-wise. I feel like, there's some of that going on, so I wanted to tip our hat a little bit to them. But otherwise, yeah, just kind of nailing out the actual themes of the album in the visual of it was the main goal.
Yeah, so was it an easy process coming up with the name? Did you guys think about it a lot?
I mean, we definitely went back and forth on it. We had a couple of ideas. We ended up voting, and we all decided on Liquor, Lust, and Anguish. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm a big fan of using lyrics from a song, either as the title of the song or the title of the whole album, and that's what we ended up going with. What? Can we not have the same opinion?
That's talking trash.
Hey, stop talking trash. I'm talking here.
Certified Buffalo, New York accent.
That was more like Italian.
Well, the North Italians in Buffalo, they don't got any.
Hey, that was pretty good. Can you do a Boston one? Ask me where I parked my car.
Where did you park your motor vehicle?
That is not Boston.
That's like
where you parked the car.
That was really good.
Oh.
I'm saying all the time.
I left my khakis in my khakis.
What
wicked smart.
You're wicked smart, Matt. Matt, give me. What are some of the voices you can do? We're gonna start with Matt. Matt, do some voices.
Are we seriously doing this or not?
Yes, dude.
Are we doing impressions? Are we doing accents?
I don't know. Just give them something.
Yeah, dude.
British. It's fun. In it. The amount of times this man will do a British accent, he just flows into it effortlessly, and then now he's just British for a couple sentences, and then he'll flop back to being, an American like you should be. You talk about me like that again, I'll give you a knuckle biscuit in it. A knuckle biscuit? Bro, it's PG-13. You said it 9 times.
Bro, hey. Knuckle biscuits. Okay. Any other voices besides British? I mean real ones, not made up ones.
Britain's totally real, man. We rebelled against them in 1842.
No, dragons aren't real. No, I don't buy any of this.
Columbus sailed the ocean blue, same year.
Oh.
Yeah, Columbus is from Spain, dude. Okay, Spain's real.
I never claimed to be smart.
Hey, you can be smart and still be dumb. Okay, I believe in you. I believe in your
I like
ability.
both. I'm one of those halfers. Hermaphrodites.
Yo, wait, Derek, do you have any voices you can do? Silly
No,
little
I pretty much
voices.
got this, and I can kind of do a little bit of a southern, but only if I'm around southern people. Like I work with this sweet old lady, Kathy. She's like 98.
Shout out, Kevin.
Yeah, shout out Kathy.
Shout out Kathy.
And she just has the voice of like warm molasses on a summer day.
Oh, she just got the voice of wild molasses on a southern day.
It's very close to that. If you were slightly
wow.
more feminine, you'd be like right on.
Oh, we see. And I can't. I'm too tired.
I appreciate the
I'm
effort.
too congested. Okay, Austin, you're the singer. What do you think about doing voices? Do you ever think when you go to sing something?
I guess I don't really understand this question anymore. If British people don't count as a voice, then
Well, no, they're just not real. I just meant, like.
Mr. Krabs is real, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's all you get.
I just. Do you ever do any voices when you're like thinking about like practicing like singing things and trying to get to like different sounds?
Lately I've been like practicing screams. I really want to get some like Dave Grohl. There you go. Yeah. You wanna join the little liar?
That's the best I can do.
But yeah, I've been like practicing that a little bit. Otherwise, no, I feel like it's taken me a really long time. I don't have any like professional training with singing, so everything that I've done since I was a kid was just like trying to replicate certain people, and then as I got more serious about it, I was like, I need to kind of understand what my own voice is, and I guess so now I don't really try to do anything different than what my version of singing is. Try to just use my own voice.
I guess when you go into a higher register, do you have any cues, and how do you know what your version of singing is, right? Because you can make things more nasally or less nasally, like kind of at will. And so, how do you figure out? Is it just what feels natural? Is it a combo?
Yeah, it's more for me. It's more about what feels natural. I notice like when we do covers and stuff, I have to steer myself away from directly like emulating certain singers because like that's how I taught myself, and it's almost really easy for me to like just try to shoot to sound more like somebody else. I could I'll get not to blow smoke up my own, but yeah, but like bands like Stone Temple Pilots or something, I feel like I do a pretty decent job at like emulating a Scott Weiland type of voice.
Yeah.
So and it is kind of it was a big influence on me. So it is kind of part of my natural thing at this point. But that kind of thing, I guess. Is what
Yeah. Well, are you still, in fact, half the man you used to be?
Nah. See, this is where we get sad again.
Darkness imprisoning me. All that I see, absolute horror.
It's pretty horrific.
I believe Metallica wrote that one.
Yeah.
Specifically Lars. No.
That's why.
I thought that was Robert Frost.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you have any other lyrical inspirations? Do you read poetry? You read poetry? Is it what you do? Huh?
I don't recognize that accent.
Really? Oh.
Not so much poetry. No, I did in like high school and stuff, but not anymore really. I guess like I do enjoy deep diving into other people's lyrics. And I try not to steal too much, but
You can steal themes. You can take a theme and give your version. Your take on that subject.
That's
your experience.
more so what happens. And then I just try to keep it as true to myself as I can.
Yeah. So you said the Strokes earlier. What kind of what kind of lyrical stuff do you end up taking from them? Is it their earlier stuff? Is it newer stuff? Something in the middle?
The new Abnormal album, it was the 2020 album. That was like, I really got into that album. That's like a 10 out of 10 album for me. I don't know, there's a lot of like, from like the Julian Casablancas, you know, view, it seems like he's like reflecting a lot on childhood in that album and stuff. And I don't know, I guess I pulled from that a little bit. I don't think it's really made it. It's made it a little bit into some of the newer stuff that we haven't released yet. But like I said earlier, most of the first album's just like heartbreak and depression. So it's pretty like I don't beat around the bush too much in the first album. Like there's no cryptic stuff going on in the lyrics really. It's pretty straightforward.
And so has that changed?
I like to steer it in a different direction so that it's maybe more up for interpretation as opposed to just what you hear is what you get. You know?
Yeah. Well, I definitely I've noticed myself. I like when the way I kind of phrase it is white space,
Yeah.
leaving white space in your lyrics, right? And I've started to notice I like comedy a lot, and there's a comedian Harland Williams who was in the movie Half Baked and a bunch of stuff. But he recently started becoming his podcast and started watching it a lot, and I realized his trick is almost all of his comedy centers around him saying things multiple ways and halfway through the words, kind of switching up on what word you thought he was saying, and lots of like synonyms, and realizing like, oh, by just like taking one word or one sentence and pulling it into like 14, and even writing lyrics myself, if you're trying to tell a story, it could be one paragraph, 4 sentences, but then you take each sentence and you describe, if it's if someone was walking in the woods, they got taken by a witch, the witch had them in a pot of water, they ate the witch because they were a bear. That could be a story, right? And so, but you could peel apart every single sentence. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. It was just a crazy arc of the story you just laid out. So I was like,
There you go.
whoa.
Yeah. But I was gonna say you could have a whole thing on the feeling the like the temperature of the wind on your back changing as you knew they were catching up on you. Like you could describe all of these things. You could go into literally like 10,000x zoom in on details, or you can say super high level and just give beats of a story. So how do you pick the balance between like giving people enough and but still giving them room for imagination?
I do have a hard time with that sometimes because I feel like I find most of the time I have so much that I want to say and I have to try and cram it into one verse. Like it needs to fit in this verse, right? So that we can move on to the next section. And I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend like I've mastered that yet, but I just do my best with it, and I usually find a way to make it make sense in the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, have you explored doing like backup vocals and things like that to kind of fill in, so you can get more of the lyrics in?
Not really backing vocals so much, as far as like to be used in that way. But the most we do is like harmonizing for chorus parts and stuff like that. But no, I have not tried that.
Wicked. Okay, and then a little on recording. How do you guys go about recording? Does it start with a demo? Is there a click track, or is it just you guys in the room?
So the first record was kind of like an in and out experience. So we kind of got a good deal with a local one of the highest end recording studio in Buffalo, and they gave us 3 days, rushed in, rushed out, and that was it, right? And that one we don't really like we didn't like the process of it. So it was nice because we learned from it, and now we're kind of taking demos, sitting on the demos, figuring out what we want, how to layer, how to build upon the bones of a song and really develop it into its full potential. So now it's starting to be this more of a process rather than, okay, we wrote a song, let's go record it.
And so what is that process?
We like the idea of demoing now.
Yeah.
And like having a good quality version of what the song has started out as. Just and having that space to listen to it and be able to hear, like he said, layers that could be added in, harmonies, be it like just sit with the bare bones of the song and be able to find harmonies. And
I feel like it's kind of like training a muscle, right? Like before I joined this band, I was not like the best songwriter. I couldn't hear these things, but since I got with these guys and got with Austin, I've really been able to now hear where things should go. And you can't really explain it, but it just is in your head, and you're like, this should go here, I hear this here, and we'll talk like that. Like, I hear this, and then we'll have different ideas on what we hear in different spots, but, I mean, that's just kind of what it is, and we listen to it, and whatever, I don't know, hits the ear correctly, kind of, or we put into the song, and fits the best, kind of.
I think there's so much that we can comfortably flesh out together in a practice space to add to a song, like as we're writing it or as we're trying to, beef it up or add anything to it. But then it's like, at least for me, I like hearing a demo, like a decent quality version where every part is kind of clearly stated on a track, just to be able to say like, well, maybe I don't really like that little bit so much. I couldn't really hear that so much when we're all turned up to 11 and a half in this building, you know what I mean? So I think that's where like demoing things and sitting on them for a little bit is going to help us out moving forward and making songs as strong as we possibly can.
Yeah. And then when it's time to go from that step to demo to the official version, do you have thoughts on how you're going to do that this time?
I think it's just once we get, I think it's after you get the drums and the bass done, a lot of the layering is done between the guitars, and as we kind of do stuff, I feel like, and with the way we've demoed stuff and we've recorded some stuff to a near finished state, you kind of hear stuff as it's coming through, and you're like, while you're in the studio, there's some like heat of the moment stuff where you're like, hey, this might be cool if we could figure something out here. So I think as you work through recording the song, you just kind of hear stuff that kind of feels like it should be there. So, I mean, and that's my experience. It might, so.
It's nice to have, like, we have a good guy we're working with now, too, where, we value his input, too, as an outside source. And it's like, I would trust him to be like, I think you could really add something in this section. And
it also helps he's a musician.
Listen, to what he has to say.
Right. Yeah, and he's a musician too. He does sound, and he knows us all very well, so he knows how to pull the best out of us. I feel like is what we're about. Yeah, he knows what we're about, what we're capable of, and what.
That's awesome.
I want to. Yeah,
I want
to be pushed a little bit. I don't want it to just be like easy breezy, go and like just record your part and get out of here. Challenge us a little bit.
Yeah, pull the best out of us.
Do another take.
Yep.
All those things. So. It's nice to have that kind of person to work with.
Yeah. Yeah, having someone to pull stuff out of you is definitely something important to have. Then also the added element of feedback, right? Someone who's not you hearing it, and they're hearing it completely kind of subjectively. They're not hearing it with everything you're bringing in. They just hear it as a normal person who likes music.
Right.
And so what are your thoughts on feedback and how much you kind of want to like get people's ears on something before you settle on it? Do you want to give your demos out to like other bands you like, or like maybe some people you trust their opinion? Maybe it's just friends, see what they think?
I think
Yeah, I feel, I don't know. I personally try to keep it to myself as much as possible. Like, the only people I really share it, would share it with, I mean, would be you guys and Brad. I try to keep it, not that it's like the end of the world if people hear our demo, but if I want people to hear it, I want people to hear the finished version. I don't want them to hear the
Yeah.
There's like a couple musicians in the scene with us that if I felt like we were struggling with something, and they maybe had something to help with that, or like advice for it, then I'd be like, listen to this real quick and tell me what you think about it.
Yeah, and I feel like there are a group of people
For the most part, like, yeah, I also want to be like just true to who we are, and
because like we know our music the best out of everybody, and like you don't want to have too many cooks, stirring the pot. So like we know the end goal that we're looking for. It's nice to have one or two people on the outside be like, oh, but what if you did this? Because we're so attached to what we created that it's like hard to venture outside of that ideology. But it's nice to have like this Brad guy who's just like, hey, Derek, why don't you freaking how about you over there go play the drums one more time and like have a better end product? And then like just that little push could be enough to make or break a song.
Yeah. Yeah, 1,000%. Yes. And so I guess I didn't really ask too much. Derek, how do you approach drumming a song? Do they come to you with like kind of chords and like a melody, and then they're like, okay, Derek, it's your turn? How's that process?
So, I mean, most songwriting is just like, this guy, Matt, will start playing something. And then I'll just start doing what I feel like I need to do on the drums. And then Austin will go, all right, I got the whole song finished. This is what we're going to do. So we all bring the bare bones, and then Austin's really good at like making everything just slightly better.
Fit.
Austin's a better drummer than I am, but he can sing better than me, so that's why I'm on the drums.
Got it. Well, now where does Dash fit in? Because I haven't heard anything. Is the bass an afterthought?
200 pounds. Man.
Yeah, exactly. No, in terms of writing, Austin and I have been writing music together since I was a senior in high school. So we tried the whole band thing back then. And we kind of consistently, like even after that, just one of my favorite times writing music is the two of us hanging out, playing guitar, and exchanging ideas. So definitely there's a lot of comfortability there in that relationship. But yeah, I also have like a pretty long friendship with Derek, so being in the rhythm section together is a nice time because it gives us a good opportunity to bounce ideas off of each other, even in a live setting where we kind of exchange looks and notice when we're pulling out like new interesting bits that we're adding to songs.
And then a little technical on the bass. Do you approach things, if it's a riff, sometimes you're like, okay, double the guitar, or are you thinking about like what bass notes and what chord tones I'm playing under? Like, how are you thinking about bass lines?
It depends. If the riff is like the whole, like the crux of the song, the whole like beef of it, then I definitely want to double up in certain areas. But then there's some other fun things. Like I like finding like fun melodic things to do on the bass, to have like little hooks within different sections of the song. But no, nothing too crazy. I'm not a super big bass man. I play drums and then guitar and then now bass. So I just like playing music, man.
Yeah, well, I think y'all do. I hope you all do.
Pretty passionate.
Okay, and now everyone, we're getting close to the end. Say one thing you like about the three other band members. What's your favorite thing about them?
That's the most wholesome.
Like one thing for all three?
Or
Yeah,
like
yeah,
one,
so
or
like-
one
One thing about everybody.
So let's start with Dash, right? So like Dash, say your favorite about Derek, Matt, and Austin, right?
Okay. Collectively, as a unit?
No, individually.
Individually, oh man.
This is gonna be so hard.
Okay.
I'm here for this.
I got this. I'm prepped. I'm prepped and ready for this. All right, so Derek, I'm going to go comedy and overall social spiciness is how I would put it. Because this man is unhinged in a crowded room. Matt, I would say, obviously the ability to rip on the guitar and the way that he's kind of grown on all of us as a unit.
Like a fungus.
No, not like a fungus, but no. The relationship has like gotten a lot tighter and cooler as we've gone on. And then, yeah, I've known Ozzy the longest, so...
Not true.
Well,
It's me, I'm Ozzy.
shut up. It is true. But yeah, so, I don't know. Austin's got that cool factor. He writes some damn good songs and can sing the hell out of all of them, so that's pretty sweet.
Jarrett.
That's me. This is going to be really hard. I've never said one nice thing about this Matt guy ever. So I'm here for this one. I'm always making fun of him and calling him fat, telling him he's bad at sports. Even though you know we're all 25 and don't play sports. But I'll start with Dash. I call him Ruth just for funsies.
Yeah.
Huge backstory. It's Ruth.
Yes.
So I just like how him and I can like gel so well because we've played together for like 4 or 5 years now. We're both dating sisters, so like we see each other a lot, we hang out a lot, and just the camaraderie that he brings to me is awesome. And then also like little moments that we have on stage, I'm always looking at him and he's smiling or laughing at me or something. So just, yeah, the way that we gel, I guess, is what I like about him the most. Matt is just, he's the most different from the rest, I guess. I was going to say us three, but like, obviously. The perspective that he can bring not only to like the music that we play, but also like how he handles personal interactions with people. And he took over like the whole socials for everybody, and he does most of our PR work and like getting us gigs and stuff like that. And then also he's just like a great person and can shred on the guitar. So other than him being bald, Matt's pretty fucking freaking awesome. I love this guy. And then Austin is just, it's my turn, okay? And then Austin's an absolutely gorgeous man. Everybody that meets this guy likes him. He knows every single band, every song they've ever written, and can sing it to you right now with the chord progressions.
Every single song.
And then just his voice is so absolutely not PG-13 for me, if you know what I'm saying. It's something about the way that Austin handles, listens, and plays music just really like rekindled my passion for music, and he's really the reason I'm in this band.
That's powerful. Thank you guys for watching, and cue outro.